He ratted you out personally.
We still got 600 gallons of methane.
Man,
Hi, Chris.
who gives a shit about meth? We won the lottery here.
How's it
We got
going?
all the money in the world.
Pretty good.
What are you working on?
Frank?
Just trying to write down my thoughts.
Uncle Jack, no matter how much you got, how do you turn back on more?
About what?
Human capabilities, what we are adapted to do and poorly adapted at doing.
Such as?
Well, right now I just have
Is that Lydia
couple bullets of
you
ideas.
little bastard? Hey,
can't figure out a third bullet for what we're poorly adapted to. More or less, I can't word the third one. We are poor at. If I were to compare it to a computer, they can have multiple operating systems working at one time. So that's basically different conceptual ideas working that do not. They basically know how to efficiently have multiple ideas working without them contradicting because they're independent and the same at the same time. They're completely, what's it called when you don't have any bias at all, like zero bias? Is it objective?
Sure.
They're just critical thoughts. Computers can do that.
Yeah, subjective means there's a bias.
People, it is our weakness. It is a weakness. It is both weakness and a good adaptation to both think about things critically and abstractly, but we come across contradictions all the time in the human mind. We come across dissonance. Things, we have a worldview, but our worldview doesn't match the world. For instance, I mean, I'm jumping to religion right away and I don't want to, but like...
The source of all cognitive dissonance.
Yeah, it is a huge source of cognitive dissonance. I would say because once you create once you achieve consciousness, you are conscious of your own body. If you're conscious of your own body in relationship to its surroundings, then you have to also understand that you as a body attached to a mind may die. And we can understand the body by itself without a mind. No, we can't. We can understand the mind by itself without a body. Because we understand our mind, and we can imagine it without a body. But to understand the body without a mind seems impossible. So when you divorce the two from each other, when you sever the two, if you kill the body, does the mind go anywhere? And so human beings thinking about afterlife, you either create a religion, and I'm not saying religion is created or fabricated. I'm saying, to me, it seems like a logical explanation to keep ourselves sane, because to understand one's demise, that one will die, is a hard thing to do.
Right, which is the current theory as to how religion started.
And I'm not saying religion is faulty or that it's not real. I'm saying I don't have any proof to myself. And so this is one example of dissonance. We create these... We automatically go to this worldview that makes it acceptable to go on everyday routines, which is like what we need to survive, is to do everyday routines. Eat, have shelter, I mean basic needs and instincts. There's of course many layers upon this, but basically human beings have so many, we go every day creating like this dissonance, or we're basically a conundrum in ourselves. But like computers can have multiple systems. They can go basically down every route at the same time. I mean, we're moving that way in computing with quantum computing. They can think and work out every single possibility at the same exact time. I would say that's a human weakness, but I'm trying to word that. So overall, I said human sapiens are poorly adapted to estimating, whether it be time, distance. A lot of our sensory cues are warped through basically our limitations on how we sense our surroundings. Multitasking. We're not good at multitasking. We're not perfect at multitasking. Multitasking helped us because when you're more attentive to multiple things, you survive better because one, you're more aware of your surroundings, and being more aware of surroundings helps you as a hunter, and it helps you as a what's the opposite of predator, or what's the other part to predator?
As a prey.
Yeah, it helps you whether you're hunter or prey. It helps you run away because you can pinpoint a target you need to run away from and a target you need to run towards. So multitasking we're fairly good at, and it helped us evolutionarily, but we're not great at multitasking, and it slows us down in a modern world filled with many, many stimuli. And so the three things we're poorly adapted to is estimating, multitasking, and the third thing I was trying to explain, which is creating multiple understandings, multiple systems in our own brain. I'm having trouble doing that right now in this conversation. And then the easier thing I can explain is what we are well adapted at, which is socializing. It's helped us greatly evolutionarily. We are basically one huge tribe on the planet Earth. Utilizing tools. This is great. This helped in our evolution. Unfortunately, this utilizing tools along with consuming resources, which is the third thing we are all adapted at, are a double-edged sword because it keeps our survival, but at the rate in which we are expanding as a population, it may also lead to our own demise, and maybe the demise of most life on Earth.
Wow, you covered a lot of topics in that one.
Yeah, I covered a lot of topics, but I mean, like, obviously looking at things subjectively and objectively, I can see both good and bad, and then nothing at all. I can just look at it as it is and see human beings as a result of evolution, and their continual of evolution is basically to preserve one's own life and the information of life. Tying back to our ways of estimating, it's hard to perceive all this because we are bad at estimating. So when human beings, when I'm trying to estimate the entire big picture of human evolution, we are very proud of self. I mean, for instance, Homo sapien sapien is
the wise man.
Yeah, it's redundant. We have to say we are the wise man because Homo sapien is wise, so it's our Neanderthal cousins, so to speak. And I don't want to say predecessors. They are our cousins. And then we had to double it up and say wise. We are the wise of the wise humans left on the earth. So I mean, like, and we relate all our surroundings as if it has to. We look at it human-like first, and that is how we evolved and adapted, and that has kept us alive. But we can't think out of that box. It's hard to think out of that box because you'd have to think like something else. You'd have to observe your surroundings as if you were not human. And so when humans try to observe themselves, because we are self-actualizing, self-aware creatures, when we try to wear our presence on this earth, and it's hard to make an accurate estimation, because again, we're bad at estimating, our presence here, the time here, because we are only adapted to understand our life in one life. Now that we've pretty much set up our success as a human race, besides the fact that we might be our own demise, we now have to understand what the human race can do over a long period of time, longer than one lifetime. And that is hard to do for many human beings because you see your lifetime, you see the resources, you see what you need to do, and you see the problems you need to fix. But in today's age, we are coming across problems that will continue for many, many, many generations. And it is intelligent to try to fix them now. We may not be around to fix them later, but our sons and daughters are basically the generations after us will be around to have to fix those problems, and they will ask the question, why didn't our predecessors fix this? Why were they so stupid? When we study history, we jump to the fact that human beings make so many mistakes, and they make the same mistakes. And I really think that's because we only perceive the world in our lifetime. And I do think we are improving on morality, and we're improving our understanding of humanity.
Improving on morality,
Yes.
so subjective.
That is again subjective because I am human and I can't get out of the fact
So
that
you
I'm human.
believe morality is subjective.
I told
do
you.
you believe-
I told you that was a conundrum because it's both, and I cannot be. And it's both, and it's neither.
That's interesting.
When I look at it, sometimes it's none of it.
So you believe that they're
Sometimes it's undefined. Sometimes it's defined by self. Sometimes it's defined by something I consider out of myself. But I can't prove either of them as being true morality because I have nothing to relate it to. And that's often the case we have with our intelligence as far as relating to a different intelligence, because we need something to relate to create a stepping stone upon another way of thinking, to connect one's thoughts to some other thought.
So you believe morality can be improved upon?
Yes.
I like that theory.
And I think we're off to a great start. I think at the beginning we've been defining morality. I think it's really funny. I think at first we defined morality one-on-one, the morality of self, because it's the only thing we define. And as social creatures, we survive better in numbers and with groups of people. In fact, our brain, through evolution, we probably couldn't survive on our own. Now we'd probably die of depression and loneliness, and I think that is the case. Obviously, there are outliers, but so we've evolved morality of self. We've defined morality and established morality as group and tribal, and then in today's world, we are approaching globalization, in which we are defining tribes as one tribe. So the entirety of humanity
Well, do you think
is morality
it's that, or do you think
is
that,
being defined.
or do you think that the challenge and what we're trying to do is increase what we view as the size of the tribe, instead of seeing it as tribe, but
In
see
fact-
it globally as everyone belongs to our one group.
Yeah, I mean,
To our tribe of
just
Homo
the idea
sapiens
that
sapiens.
we actually thought in the past of history. I mean, that's where knowledge comes in. That's where knowledge is sort of the sister or brother of morality. Is because the more we know, the more we can define what is right and wrong. And obviously, you can look at it as a bunch of zeros and ones. Like, this has a worth. This is molecular worth of this according to that. And that would be totally objectively looking at something. How much energy does it input or output to a system, whether it's beneficial or not. But as far as morality and humanity is considered, even the definition of a tribe, we once thought that people were different races, were different species, or different. I mean, but we're all one species. We can prove that genetically, and we are all one tribe. And so morality is at a global level. We have global rules and laws that we define ourselves as that keep us in check, and they're not perfect, but I believe after generation and generation, we are learning. Our collective brain or collective understanding of morality is improving because we do have a history, because our history hasn't been severed from us. We do learn from the past. May not be collectively.
We're very quickly.
We're very quickly learning from our past
Or
and
very
improving.
quickly. No, I don't feel we are learning very quickly. Aristophanes was decrying slavery back in his time in Greece, and yet we decided to get rid of it only
Quickly,
100
that's a
years
time
ago.
thing. We only quickly. I mean, the humans on this planet, as far evolutionarily, are just a second on a 24-hour clock. We are just here.
No,
we have just appeared on this
I believe,
earth,
I
basically.
believe the latest analogy is we would have arrived at the party 15 minutes ago.
15 minutes ago?
Yes.
15 minutes
The
ago?
hominid species in
Oh.
general.
Okay.
I believe it's the hominid
Not
species.
Homo sapiens sapiens?
Not necessarily Homo sapiens sapiens.
Homo sapiens sapiens been here for like a minute. And so eventually I think our morality will extend beyond the global human. I think it'll extend beyond into all life. And that's basically where I'm going. I'm trying to find what we're good at, what we're bad at.
You're trying to find what we're good at?
No, I'm trying to define. I'm trying to summarize what we're poorly adapted at and well adapted at. I'm trying to write down my thoughts and try to understand how that makes us better keepers of morality, since we are the only keepers of morality.
Are we?
It's. I'm not saying other creatures don't have intelligence,
Well, can I put
but
this?
we are able to literally change our surroundings at such a pace we could either strip away all other life on this planet or increase all life on this planet. Because we have to understand that there are more species of bacteria in your own stomach than there are even humans on this earth. And life, we can't think of ourselves independently as a system. We are totally part of the system. And so it may be selfish, actually, to think about preservation of all our life, because it preserves our life as well. Not saying life won't go on after we're gone, or if we do cease to exist on this planet.
How would you define morality, though?
How would I define, like, in one sentence, because that's really hard.
Give a definition. What do you feel morality is? Or an anecdote. I tend to like Hinge Gillette's description of morality. Morality is doing the right thing when no one else is watching, which is also my definition for integrity.
I would define the integrity as that. As far as morality, I think that, because it's not fair to all creatures, what's your intelligence threshold? So, how about this? What you are capable of, you are responsible for.
Right.
And you should not take away from somebody else's capabilities and somebody else's will.
Well, that sounds like more of a system of morality.
It's a system of morality, because that's the only way I know how to define it. If I were to define it with a sentence, I would say, do not take away one's free will unless it also takes away one's free will. For instance,
What?
if you're going to take a life, if someone's going to take a life, it's not wrong to stop them from taking a life. It would be wrong to stop them from taking a life by killing them, because that takes away their will. So will, if will interacts with will, that's the only time it is wrong to take away one's will. But for the most part, people's individual wills can coincide to the point where it becomes one will. You have to consider all of life as one will to survive, expand, and potentially be the greatest thing in the universe, because we are the universe reflecting upon itself.
I've heard that before. I'm not sure how much I believe that. That sounds like God created us so that he wouldn't have to be lonely. It's like the same exact argument.
No, but it's true, because every atom and every subatomic particle in you has a history at the birth of the universe. And it may not be the same exact atoms or molecules, because they turn into matter and out of matter and back into matter. But it's all because of one thing. As far as we know, we can't go back further than that as far as our science is right now. But because we are a result of everything in this universe, we are the greatest thing in this universe, because we can observe it.
Whoa!
That is a very biased statement.
That is the biggest statement of arrogance
No.
I've ever heard you make.
What?
That's the biggest statement of arrogance I've ever heard you make.
Yes, it has to be arrogant, because it's the only thing that makes sense. Without that, we wouldn't be here talking about it right now, and nothing would observe the universe. So then it wouldn't exist, because existence, and this is biased, existence
So you claim fictionalism.
Existence is only logical if observed. If not observed, or if not interactive with itself, then it actually doesn't exist. You can't have existence without
The ability to
the existence acknowledging itself. I mean, that could be a life form, or could be the existence itself. I have to postpone this. Could you pause this? Thank you.
Well, I wish you would have told me that first.